Hey, it's Marissa V. Grayson here, and you are watching Blended Family TV, where we cut through all the blended family BS to take your family from drama to peace and hopefully at some point harmony. And today we're talking about child custody and the things that you need to know once you and your child's other parent have split and child custody has become an issue. Child custody is one of the most complex and confusing areas of family law. So this is part one in this series, things you need to know when it comes to custody of your children. Custody is not automatic. So here's the thing. One of the most important things that you need to realize is that when you and the other parent decide that you are no longer going to be together, custody is essentially a free-for-all until the court system has established some sort of custody orders. So when you and the other parent decide that you're not going to be together, it doesn't necessarily mean that one of you has more rights to the children than the other does until the court says so or until the two of you agree that that's going to be the case. One of the best things that you can do for yourself and for your family is to try to reach an agreement as to who's going to have custody of the children, if you're going to share custody of the children, what the visitation schedule is going to be like, and things of that nature, so that you can prevent as many disruptions and as much confusion as possible. What happens is, in a lot of cases, after the parents split up, one parent decides that they're going to have custody of the kids. So they take the kids and they go to an unknown location in an unknown city with their phone numbers concealed, and they're not providing any information to the other parent. And then the other parent is found left behind, scrambling, trying to figure out where their kids are. The kids are trying to figure out where the other parent is. The kids want to contact the other parent, but they can't, and vice versa. So it just becomes a mess that can potentially be prevented the more proactive that you are. The second thing that you need to understand is the difference between legal custody and physical custody, because they are two distinct issues. Legal custody is who is going to be the parent that makes decisions related to the child, whether that is related to their health care, their education, their extracurricular activities, whether they're going to see a counselor or a psychologist, all of these things that need to be decided on. That is going to be the parent who has legal custody. In many situations, you will find that the parents share joint legal custody, which means that the parents must confer with each other when deciding on things such as where the kids are going to go to school, what doctors they're going to see, what kind of treatments they're going to get, all of these things that are related to the legal custody issues. You need to make sure that if you have an interest in being involved in these decisions, that you seek or try to get the other parent to agree to legal custody or specifically request legal custody or joint legal custody from the court so that you can have the right to make those decisions. Physical custody, on the other hand, is who is the child going to live with. If one parent has sole physical custody, then that means that the child is going to live in one home and go and visit the other parent occasionally. When it comes to joint physical custody, there are many, many different arrangements that can be in place. But typically what happens is the child will live primarily with one parent, but will still also go to the other parent's home frequently, such as every other weekend, one night out of the week, plus the weekends, every weekend, every summer, things of that nature. Another important misconception that needs to be cleared up and that you need to understand is that custody is not based on gender. Yes, I know a lot of times moms have custody of the children and dads have visitation. But there are also many, many fathers who have custody of their children, and the mothers are completely capable of caring for the children as well. So don't automatically assume that just because you're dad you can't have custody, or just because you're mom that you will have custody, because that's not always the case. Because the reality is, if you present a strong enough case that shows why your child should be living with you, then there's a chance that you could get custody regardless of what your gender is. The final thing that I want to discuss is what exactly does it mean when the court says they're making a determination of custody based on what's in the best interest of the child. It really depends, because what's in the best interest of my child may not be in the best interest of your child. Courts are supposed to look at the picture as a whole and say, okay, this child is used to having football and baseball on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So which parent is going to be able to ensure that they can continue to do this? This child's stability is important. Where have they been going to school? Where are all their friends located? Where are their family members located that they're close to? What is their relationship like with each parent? Are they closer to one parent than the other parent? Are they more insistent on living with one parent than the other parent? The courts can also look at the parent's behavior. Which parent is going to be more likely to facilitate a relationship between the child and the other parent? If you're the parent that's consistently trying to interfere with your child's relationship with the other parent, chances are at some point you will end up being the parent who does not have custody. The parent's lifestyle is another thing that the courts consider. If you have been consistently involved in criminal activity over and over and over, and you're in and out of jail every other year, you might not get custody unless you can show that it's in your child's best interest and that you've changed and that this is not going to be something that's going to come back and affect your children later on. What the child wants is another thing the courts can consider. Although it really is going to depend on, the age of the child, the maturity level of the child, and their ability to really understand what it is that they're asking for when it comes to saying, I want to live with mommy, I want to live with daddy. In some situations, specifically if the children are older, they might have more of an input as to, what they believe is in their best interest and why they should be living with one parent, versus the other, or splitting the time between the parents in a certain way. That's all I have for you today. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video, where I will go through a few more things that I think that everyone needs to understand when it comes to custody. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends, your family, your social media following, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.